Yo, check this out. We outside, but we inside. Come on. We outside, but we inside. Come on. I want everybody to go outside of their boundaries and do whatever it takes to pull a win. Come on. We gotta be desperate for greatness. Desperate for greatness.
The following is a presentation of Hobson Media. Woohoo!
You got it better than us.
This is the Church Pew Sports Podcast, featuring a group of pastors delivering bombastic takes on sports, life, and faith.
We're going to attack this day with an enthusiasm unknown to mankind.
Take a knee.
Man, it's hard to break us now. It's hard to break us. As a matter of fact, you ain't going to do it.
Lend an ear.
These are some of the best questions I've had. I have to tell you that straight up.
As the Church Pew Sports Podcast begins.
We were all supposed to be here together, man. We're destined for this. Just stay the course.
Give each other a high five.
It's a jubilant locker room. Give each other a high five and welcome into the Thanksgiving edition of Church Pew Sports. We outside, but we are inside, according to Jameis Winston at the start of the Lions-Giants game. His teammates were cheering on that statement. I'm not sure any of them had any idea what that meant, but hey, what a game and what a time to move into Thanksgiving week. Glad to have you with us here on Church Pew Sports. Bill Hobson here along with Pastor Paul Miller, and joining us tonight is Sean Irish, who hasn't been with us for several weeks. Good to have you back, Sean.
Yeah, good to be here.
And we think that somewhere during the program, David Collins will check in with us as well. And Paul, Sean is far too young to remember something that I guarantee you and I remember. Back in the day, like once a month, you would come home from school and turn on the TV, and on ABC, there would be what was called the after-school special. And it was like a dramatic, like a 2-hour movie, but it was supposed to address some really serious social issues that young people would be struggling with. So it would be this, high school drama centered around somebody's using drugs or somebody's skipping school or whatever. Do you remember the after-school specials?
I do. I would watch them when I could, when I didn't have football practice or something like that. But I think now they've been replaced by like First Take on ESPN.
Well, they've been replaced by a lot of things. Like I think the Jerry Springer era came along and did away with the after-school special. So I'm not sure we upgraded very much in that regard. Well, I say that because this edition of Church Pew Sports is sort of on a very special edition. We should have soft piano music playing underneath because this is Thanksgiving week. It's our Thanksgiving edition of the podcast. And today, we're not even going to do Holy Discontent, right? It's a week of thankfulness.
Yep.
Paul's thankful not to be in an airport or in a hotel right now for the next several days, right?
Yes. And I'm also thankful. I'm down in Houston with my family. And I'm also thankful this afternoon, about 1:00, a tornado touched down literally about 3 miles south of our neighborhood. And then it popped back up and we watched it go over the top of our homes in our neighborhood. This is our house, our daughter's house, our son's house. We all live in the same neighborhood down here or whatever. And then it touched down another couple miles just north of us. So this tornado skipped like a skipping stone, right? All the way through northwest Houston. Wow. Didn't do any damage to us. So I'm thankful that we're here, right? And that we don't have to be fixing our roof or anything else. So there you go.
I've thankfully, I have snow around here, but we don't have many tornadoes in the mid-Michigan area. So Sean, I think, granted we lose the temperature battle, but I think we win the don't have to worry about house being blown over showdown.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Yeah.
Yeah, you're good with that. This not only is Thanksgiving week, so we've got family, we've got football, we've got turkey, we've got reasons to be thankful. But at the tail end of this week is also a little something known as the game. So we'll talk a little Michigan, Ohio State before we get into our lists of the top 10 things for which we are thankful with sort of a sports bent to them. But first and foremost, Paul Miller's sitting there in his Buckeyes quarter zip. Sean and I remain relatively benign in all of this. We're just coming in humbly, heads down, shoulder to the wheel, just going to try and grind something out and defend the importance of this rivalry, unlike some of the people on this program where Joel Klatt went to bat for the game.
All right, it is Michigan-Ohio State. If there is a rivalry that approaches the hate of Alabama and Auburn, it is this one.
Approaches?
Klatt, you haven't lived in this state. They live in separate states.
You guys haven't lived in that rivalry.
Klatt, they live in separate. They live in separate states. These are the same state. Same state here, Klatt. Smaller territory.
I mean, there are people that mumble in church if the pastor references this game the wrong way.
Guys, I love you.
Oh, don't
the
do
Iron
this.
Bowl
Don't
is
do this.
not
Klatt, don't
in
do
the
this.
hemisphere of Ohio State.
Out of
Michigan.
your mind.
Not in the hemisphere. Sean, do you agree?
Yeah, 100%. I love Joel Klatt, man. It seems like every take he has is pretty spot on. Yeah, I mean, the hatred is real. It's always such a weird week, right? It's, it's a couple of days of work, kind of phoning it in. And then, we got Thanksgiving with family and then Black Friday shopping, and you got, Lions football. You got, of course, the new Black Friday game that the NFL is, for whatever reason, trying to do. And then, so you're surrounded by thankfulness and family, and then you have to kind of quick turn around and get your swords ready to go on Saturday at noon. So
what is your big game Saturday ritual for Michigan, Ohio State? We'll talk about some of our traditions here as we get into this whole thing.
Kind of weird. The first time where you had the Donovan Edwards back-to-back runs to kind of put away that game. That was the first year we started doing a annual turkey bowl with some of my buddies. So we've done it ever since. So 9 a.m. we're by Central High School, and we're kind of just, it's probably not looking too good and too clean, but we're running around and we're getting a sweat on, and then we get some food in us, and then it's time to gather back together, and we watch it, in someone's basement or whatnot. So that's been pretty fun the last couple of years. So.
Just a little word of warning that the more years that go on, the more the hamstring pulls will be a part of that tradition, and other injuries as well. So, Paul, you're in a new place this year for the first time, calling Houston area home. So you don't have a long-standing big game tradition, but what do you have planned?
Well, we're just going to watch football whenever football's on. Sean mentioned the NFL Friday game, which, by the way, is the 8-3 Chicago Bears playing Philadelphia on Friday of Thanksgiving week.
Who do I root for in that game?
Right. So we'll be watching that. And so it's kind of weird to be bouncing between Houston and Minneapolis, because I actually spend more time up in Minneapolis. And so I'm trying really, really hard to be a Vikings fan and to care about their season. It's not really going well for me. I'm trying really hard to be a JJ fan, which isn't going really well for anybody now.
He just goes by 9.
Yeah. Yes. That alter ego. It's fine to have an alter ego if he doesn't suck. That's anyways. So yeah, we'll watch football all day Thursday. We'll watch the Bears game on Friday. We'll watch all the football we can on Saturday. That was the best rivalry in sports was on my top 10 list of things I'm thankful for. I saw that Sharon Moore today called Ohio State the best team in college football, and I thought that's different. That somebody would just come out and say that. I whatever. So like the hatred in my is less for me, and maybe that's because I moved away from Ann Arbor, so I don't have as many slappies getting in my face every day.
Well, there's also the reality that I don't necessarily think of Sharon as the next level playing reverse psychology expert, as the prior coach was, the born on third base stuff and all of those, and Ryan Day with it. We could hang 100 on him. I don't hear that kind of thing anymore. Maybe for better, maybe for worse, but people who listen to the podcast for a while know that all season long we have a pick'em league going with a very, very difficult payout for the last place finisher, which is that person has to watch one of the worst movies ever made and then bring a review to our audience. So I'm trying to avoid being in the basement. In this game, I don't know how to pick, because there's logically, there's no way whatsoever Michigan should even be close to being in this game. Ohio State is really good. I don't know which. I haven't submitted my picks yet to our commissioner, Paul Miller. Sean, if you're advising me as my pick'em general manager, which way am I supposed to go?
It's a tough question. But what I was just thinking about is there better be no flags during the game, before the game, after the game. There's no flags, right? Is that true? Is this what we're doing, right?
Flag free. Flag free.
Okay. So
no tunnels. The tunnel is on its best behavior this year as well.
Yeah, that's been a definitely an issue. But yeah, no, my prediction is my prediction is actually there will definitely be a flag at some point, and I do think that it's going to be pretty close. I think Michigan will need to, if you think that they can win the turnover battle, which, man, I don't know. I mean, like Sharon said, I mean, Ohio State is really good, but has Ohio State been tested this year? I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, Paul, what's been their toughest test this season? Week 1?
Yeah, probably week 1, Texas. I mean, the schedule has laid out really well for them. They're all the talk around the Ohio State circles is the season starts this weekend, right? Yeah. Like the Michigan game, ideally the Big Ten championship after that, and then the playoff, right? And so they've been doing load management and all this other stuff. And I think if they sat their 2 top receivers the last couple games, and they're kind of playing a little coy with the media about whether or not those guys are really injured and all that stuff. I think if Ohio State's at full strength, then Michigan's path to victory is more narrow than Ohio State's probably. But that doesn't mean it can't happen, clearly. I mean, it's happened the last several years.
Yeah.
So it'll be great. That's why I love the rivalry, because this regular season would – I hope this doesn't sound arrogant or whatever. It would have been pretty boring if there wasn't this game at the end of the season to be like, this is great. And Michigan has had a pretty smooth path too. They played Oklahoma.
Northwestern almost got us. Northwestern almost got us.
Yeah, there's that. But
and that's the thing, from Michigan's point of view, if they don't schedule a tough non-conference opponent like Oklahoma and they schedule a cupcake, are they in the playoffs?
Right.
So,
right.
I think that's going to shape the way that colleges schedule themselves in the years to come, unless this mystical committee comes up with a better idea, because we've been over this before in the show, but the reality is the system is so deeply flawed that you are rewarded by playing a directional school instead of a top 10 or top 20 program. And I'm guessing the directional schools love the payday, even though they get the beat down. But the risk is hardly worth taking if you're a program that has playoff hopes and intentions. Not every school, Paul, can have as its very birthright 11-win seasons, as Dan Wetzel points out on ESPN.
It's no one's birthright anymore to just go 11-2. Nobody. Maybe Ohio State.
Maybe.
Yeah, maybe Ohio State. Yeah, I love that, because another on my top 10 of things I'm thankful for is that my team, Ohio State, is probably the most, I would call it, recession-proof program in college football.
Yeah.
The consistency they've shown, Dan Wetzel, what he's talking about there, it's not like I live or die what ESPN football writers say, but I did find one stat that I'll share with you guys. The teams that have spent the most weeks ranked in the AP poll since 2000, right? It's pretty fascinating. The list, Ohio State's at the top. It's Ohio State, Oklahoma, Georgia, LSU, Bama, Oregon, Michigan, Florida, Texas, USC. So 4 Big Ten programs, 6 SEC programs. Ohio State has been ranked 92% of the time in the AP poll since the year 2000. That's like recession proof. That's why that term, right? They've just been consistently good, and I'm thankful for that.
Yeah, right? Very much so. And they've been so good. It's hard to imagine that it was about 12 months and let's say 6 days ago when, Paul, you were super sick on a long drive in your car. You weren't able to watch the game. Against all logic and everything, Michigan won the game in Columbus, Ohio. Nobody still knows really how that happened, with no offense whatsoever. But it was about 10 minutes after that game when Buckeye Nation was crying out for the firing of Ryan Day.
Right.
I don't hear a lot of those voices right now. Or have they just gone away? Have they been banished to the nether regions of Columbus?
Yeah, the lunatic fringe fans in the Ohio State fan base, and there's a lot of them, right? They'll resurface and they'll call for Ryan Day's head if they lose again to Michigan this weekend. But that's like first world problems kind of stuff, right? So I feel like the thing behind the thing, or the big question is, and you alluded to this earlier, Bill, is does the game still mean what it did before? Because obviously, like look what Ohio State did last year, they got beat in embarrassing fashion in the game. They regrouped, and it probably catapulted them to a natty. You know, and so it is what it is. So the game is not, I think this year for Michigan, it's probably, if they lose, they're probably out of the CFP. If they win, they're probably in. So I think it means a whole lot more on that level to Michigan. I think Ohio State's already got a spot in the playoff. So it'll just be really interesting to see how the game goes down. And I don't believe anybody that says it doesn't matter anymore.
No.
It's still the greatest rivalry in sports. And it's still going to be a must-see appointment television kind of thing.
And we will see ample reminders the week following of why the Big Ten championship game does not matter. And nobody cares about that. That just needs to go away. And I would say it probably will, but what do I know? These days, logic is out the door. It's all about the dough. Okay, let's turn our attention to this wonderful week called Thanksgiving. What we have done is we've asked everybody on the show to prepare the top 10 things for which you are most thankful. Half of them at least have to be sports related, and all of them can be if you want to. There's no demerit points coming if you're all sports related. And to set the mood properly for this special edition of the program, we hearken back to one of, I think, the great Thanksgiving traditions, which takes us into the backyard of a young man by the name of Charles Brown and his good friend, Lucy.
Charlie Brown, oh Charlie Brown.
I can't believe it. She must think I'm the most stupid person alive.
Come on, Charlie Brown. I'll hold the ball and you kick.
Hold it? Ha! You'll pull it away and I'll land flat on my back and kill myself.
But Charlie Brown, it's Thanksgiving.
What's that got to do with anything?
Well, one of the greatest traditions we have is the Thanksgiving Day football game. And the biggest, most important tradition of all is the kicking off of the football.
Is that right?
Absolutely. Come on, Charlie Brown. It's a big honor for you.
Well, if it's that important, a person should never turn down a big honor. Maybe I should do it. Besides, she wouldn't try to trick me on a traditional holiday. This time I'm gonna kick that football clear to the moon!
Isn't it peculiar, Charlie Brown, how some traditions just slowly fade away?
Exactly. So welcome to Thanksgiving and the Church Pew Sports Top 10 list. First time we've done it this way. So, Paul, we'll let you go first. Give us just your first two, like number 10 and number 9, and we'll all work through our list a couple at a time here.
Okay, well, we already checked off a couple that were Ohio State, Big Ten related, but the first number 10 for me would be, now that all my kids live in the Houston area, and they're all kind of figuring out how to be friends and love each other as adults, I'm really thankful for the fact that my two oldest sons, Jared and Jake, are still super competitive about everything. When they were in high school, it was all soccer. It was who was going to be better in soccer. And Jared was older, and he would take his little brother with him to practice because Jake was probably a more talented player, blah, 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 blah. Today, they're doing Tough Mudders together. They're playing a lot of Call of Duty and they're very competitive in Call of Duty and their fantasy football league that they're in. I'm just glad that they continue to talk stupid 14-year-old school trash to each other. It does my heart good. It makes me feel like I raised my kids well. So that's the first one on my list.
Oh, that's outstanding. Sean, where are you starting off?
I'm starting off with ham roll-ups. I had some over the weekend, and it's just they're back, right? I mean, they're typically a nice little snack for like a social gathering or something like Thanksgiving or Friendsgiving. And I had ham roll-ups this weekend. However, they were all pickle. I'm more of an onion guy. I don't know about you guys.
What is in there? Is it cream cheese? What is in there?
Yeah, I think it's just cream. I think it's just cream cheese and then like the green onion. I think so.
Don't need that. Also, the toothpick usage is out of control with those things because it's one per, right?
Yeah, it is.
Somebody's going to end up on Shark Tank with a better twist on how to secure those things other than the toothpick. And I think, Sean, you might very well be that somebody at some point. I love that you started with ham roll-ups. My number 10, to start things off, I'm thankful for Twitter archives so that weeks like this, you can go back onto X, the Everything app, and you can see all of the, well, not all, but a lot of the people who were criticizing the Lions drafting Jahmyr Gibbs at number 12 as a huge mistake. You can now get to see all those reposted after games like he had on Sunday against the Giants, where he was a video game and kind of had me flashing back to the world of Barry Sanders. In a world of short-term memories that last about the lifespan of a gnat, to see people have to be confronted by the things that they so boldly and proudly typed out on their keyboard a couple of years ago, it's kind of fun. So I'm thankful that we can call to the carpet those people who went out on such a silly limb at the time. And they also went after Jack Campbell, I believe, who was just a few picks after Jahmyr Gibbs. All right, Paul, your next one.
Yeah, my next one kind of related, right? The NFC North. I mentioned this earlier. The Bears are 8-3.
What is happening?
What is happening in the NFC North? It's smoke and mirrors. I don't care. It's super fun. I'm grateful for all the memes of Chicago Bear fans dressed up like Mike Ditka and pointing at the camera and all the things. I get a lot of mileage out of those. Or Bill Murray putting his Bears hat on. I'm just sending Bear down tweets and texts, not during the game, but after, because I really do think it's smoke and mirrors. They still got to play the Packers twice this year. They got the Lions the last game of the season. I told you before, my prayer is just that last week of the regular season against the Lions, that game actually means something still.
Sean, have you been able to figure out the magic of the Bears? Everybody's, all the Bears fans say, we know it's smoke and mirrors, but they keep on blowing the smoke and turning the mirrors around and winning every stinking week. Your theory?
I think Caleb Williams and Ben Johnson have become clutch guys.
Caleb looks good.
I feel like, if the Bears get the ball with a minute left and they need a field goal, it's going to happen. Like that's just kind of been the way it is. If they could get, the reason we say smoke and mirrors is because they're so banged up on defense. If they could get healthy on the defensitive side of the ball, I know everybody says that.
We don't want to hear that in Detroit. We don't want to hear that.
Yeah, if they could, then they could get to the playoffs, and I think they might even, if they won the division, I'd be like, oh my gosh, they would have a shot at maybe winning a playoff game. I don't think anyone. That's crazy. I don't think that would be just an unbelievable season. I don't think they're doing anything more than that.
Well, here's my counterpoint. Much like the Patriots, I do think the schedule has been kind of nice to the Bears. So that's my counterpoint. I'm waiting for them to fall apart, but they haven't yet, right? I mean, they were down, what was it? They were down 2 scores, right? After Caleb had that inexplicable play against TJ Watt. And I'm thinking, well, they're definitely going to lose this game. And then here comes the slide. But credit to them, credit to Ben Johnson. I mean, they seem like they have they actually seem like they have a plan every week, rather than just saying, hey, let's just go out and let's try to win a game with like no game plan. Whereas, I mean, you remember last time this year, Eberflus gets let go due to the clock management, which was still insane. But
yes, yeah.
All right,
so I'm good. I'm thankful.
I don't blame you, and none of us can figure it out. And man, I'm hoping that by the time we get there in the end of December and it's in Chicago, I really hope that they have come back down to earth, because that's going to be quite a place and quite an environment for that finale. Sean, your next one.
Yep. My next one, I'm thankful for. I'm gonna lead you guys in. If you guys like bad football, fumbles, bad weather, picks, punts, it's Maction.
Maction.
Tuesday, Wednesday. I mean, it's what can you want? You get home from work, nothing's on. If your favorite basketball or hockey team is not on, you flip over to Kent State Akron and you have a good time.
Do you know any players on either side?
You know, I rebuilt Akron in NCAA, the football game, so I do actually know Akron. But I mean, I follow my CMU boys, Fire Up Chips. But yeah, I love Maction because you truly, like, you think you've seen every sort of scenario, and it's just like something different happens every time.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable.
That's funny, Maction.
It's really true, man.
My next one takes us into the to the Pistons world. The Pistons, I believe, have won 12 in a row, maybe 13. And as we're talking right now, they're playing the Pacers, and they're up 14 points in the third quarter. And I am thankful for Cade Cunningham. I'm going to flash back now to a year ago. Was it a year ago? 2 years ago. 2 years ago, with the big 28-game losing streak. And watching this guy who is the cornerstone of this franchise sit there in a press conference and answer questions and say this.
Yeah, we're not 2-26 bad. You know what I mean? Like, no way are we that bad. So, yes, I think we can turn it around. I think we can play a lot better brand of basketball than we're playing right now.
We're not 2-26 bad. And he was right, because they went on to lose several more after that comment. And I just love to see the perseverance and the guy who has probably changed himself. He's become a killer. He's become a killer on the basketball court. He is really leading that team. And, you know, everybody, of course, is praying for safety and health for Cade Cunningham. But they're kind of fun to watch. Even though I don't really watch the NBA, it's kind of fun to have your local team almost being the news of the league. Of course, we still have ESPN, so the news of the league is really the Lakers. But for teams that are winning and making a difference, it's the Pistons. All right, Paul, you're up next.
Yeah, like I can piggyback off that perfectly, right? I am thankful for the fact that it appears like we are done comparing Jordan and LeBron, and now we are comparing Kobe and LeBron. I have said for years that if you want to do your hierarchy at the top of the food chain, it's Michael, Kobe, and maybe LeBron is third. It's just way more interesting. It's way more appropriate. And I found this old clip that I sent your way, Bill, of Kobe talking a little trash to James Harden, and I just wanted us to listen to this.
What were you guys talking on the baseline, you and James Harden?
We just talking a little bit. It's a good, friendly conversation, man.
Anything you want to share with us?
That conversation was pretty brief. I mean, I was doing all the talking. Maybe one day they'll be able to sit at my lunch table, but right now we're at two different lunch tables, man. So that conversation's pretty brief.
We are at two different lunch tables. And sorry, by the way, folks, for the soundbite. Some of these places, they put up these great sound bites, but then they put music beds under them. And sometimes it's really hard to just hear the audio. Kobe's asked about what he and Harden were talking about on the baseline. And he said, oh, it's pretty good. But he said, he can't sit at my lunch table yet. We're at different lunch tables. And I'm guessing that's what Kobe was telling him. And Paul, it's funny you put that soundbite in the rundown, because this afternoon I was at my chiropractor who was in Michigan, but he used to work in Florida. And one of his clients was a player for the Heat who was just telling him about guarding Kobe. And he was telling me this story today during our time together. And he said the guy who was really, really, really good realized that he wasn't that good, because when you step on the floor against Kobe. So yeah, that's good timing.
Not at that lunch table, man. And I think it's just great for my soul to see LeBron get exposed as not being at the same lunch table as Kobe and Michael. That's just good for me. It almost makes me want to go back to watching the NBA.
Almost. Yeah. All right, Sean, what's next for you?
Oh, next. I'm going to go with days where you can just wear sweatpants. I mean, those are good days, right? Yeah. I mean, I feel like stress-free days. They're big calorie days. You don't really have to worry about loosening up a button or two at Thanksgiving if you're in sweatpants. There, arguably, I like the leftovers better than the Thanksgiving meal. So yeah, I'm going with sweatpants days. It's typically filled with football, relaxation, and I love me some sweatpants.
Yeah, man. The rest of this week, only Wednesday do I have to not be in sweatpants. So I'm very much excited about that. Good call on your part. My next item, what I'm thankful for, Jim Harbaugh and J.J. McCarthy. Just the legacy of what has been bestowed upon us with the 2023 and all these things. And I feel bad for J.J. At the NFL level. He's having a very rough start. Didn't help to be injured for a year and all those things. But, he's not playing very well, obviously. So hopefully he'll turn that around. But I loved the aspect of the game that had Harbaugh with his silly little comments that he would make throughout the course of the week leading up to it. And it would infuriate a lot of people. I always found it strangely endearing. But then again, I'm a Lamb beer fan, so I guess I'm a little bit off kilter to start with. So that's my next item, James Harbaugh and J.J. McCarthy. All right, Paul, your turn.
Just going to purge that from
my psyche
and go right back to my list. I am thankful for sports grandparenting.
Oh.
Right. My granddaughter, JoJo, played T-ball for the first time this year. My grandson, Bennett, is getting soccer goals from us for Christmas. Here's what's great about being a sports grandparent. You don't have to do anything. You just get to show up, watch your grandkids play, maybe hand out the snacks, but you didn't have to actually get the snacks. You just get to be a part of handing them out. The biggest thing you got to do is remember to throw your fold-up chairs in the back of your car. That's it. There's no stress. You don't live or die with the outcome of the game. There is nothing like sports grandparenting. I'm here for it.
What's the go-to snack right now for the little ones? It's not ham roll-ups, I wouldn't think.
No, it's not ham roll-ups. Down here, it's like Rice Krispie treats and protein drinks. Of course, protein drinks.
Paul, do they ever do the variety pack, the chocolate M&Ms on top, the drizzle?
Yes, they do. Yeah.
Sean played soccer in high school. What was the go-to snack that you guys would have junior high and high school? Those are long games.
Man. We were bad. Probably like Slim Jims. I know that's gross, but like we would have a Slim Jim. Terrible acid right in your throat. Oh, but hey, it was what we liked. Right?
That's funny.
All right, Sean, what's next on your list?
I'm going to get, not super serious, but everybody has their favorite team, right? I love Michigan. I love Detroit sports. My favorite team is the Red Wings. It was a team that I had fallen in love with when I was, I think, 6 years old. The radio comes on and they're talking about, the Red Wings had their first ever shootout. And so my dad had recorded it. I laid eyes, my very first moment in really sort of realizing what sports was a Pavel Datsyuk goal, which was pretty cool. So instantly I fell in love with it. And I'm super thankful for Ken Daniels and Mickey Redmond. They are the absolute best duo in hockey and have been for so long. And those were the two guys that were calling the game when I had first experienced that and first was sort of felt like I had gained consciousness that day, to be quite honest. And it's still to this day. For 20 plus years, they still do a great job. And through, me growing up to being a teen, to being a young adult, to me being a grown, they're always been there, which is really something special. So, yeah.
And they're showing some promise this year.
Yeah.
First place in the Atlantic, but it's early. Yeah. But I'm hopeful. They deserve, obviously we had the long run of consecutive playoff years, but one more good real run with Mickey would really be cool.
Yep, and hopefully he'll be there for all of that. I'm trying to get him on this podcast, and if we do, Sean, I'll make sure that I invite you to be on with us as well.
That'd be a dream.
Yeah, true. Mickey actually, along with his enthusiasm and his love for old time hockey, he likes to see the gloves come off, and when they do, you hear him say "Holy jumping," and nobody knows what that means, but that's Mickey at his best, and bingo, bango, bongo, and all that stuff. Kind of in that same vein of resurging teams, I'm number 7 on my list is I'm thankful for Dan Campbell bringing culture change to the Lions, along with Brad Holmes. We're now at this point where we no longer tolerate bad game performances like we had against the Giants, a game that Detroit really should not have won, but thankfully New York was very kind in gifting it to us, because he's changed the culture so much. I don't know if we're at the Super Bowl or bust point, but we certainly are at a point where we expect really good things, and that only comes because leadership changed the culture. I try to remember that on days when you go 0-5 on 4th down conversion attempts, instead of taking the points here and there. You got to take that headache with the good stuff, but Dan has definitely changed things around. My next one on my list, sports texting threads, right? So we're all part of them. In fact, that's how Church Pew Sports got started. Paul and I texting each other incessantly during a whole bunch of different events. And finally, I think I said, this should be a podcast. And we just started, what do you mean? Take it back and forth from here. And here we are, 193 episodes later. And I think all of us, in fact, Paul has recently formulated some very specific restrictions for his Chicago Bears text threads for the fear of bursting the bubble that they're riding on. So I probably have our own groups of friends. Sean and I text during games once in a while. And Paul, we always do sports text threads, something that did not exist when I was Sean's age. And I don't know how I channeled all of the aggression back then. I was just sitting there talking to myself like a madman, apparently, because there was no such thing as texting. Yeah, it's a wild.
No, but doesn't that make it like, I feel like that would make it more meaningful. Like, I even remember when I was younger, I didn't have, social media, and I would call my grandpa the Red Wings are playing out west in Phoenix, and it's midnight, and I'm just like, I can't believe that Brad Stewart turned the puck over with 2 minutes left and Shane Doan scored. I just can't, how do they do that? And that to me was like, that was true hurt, and it's what makes winning feel so much better,
Oh, that's great. So, when the Pistons and Celtics played, and Bird stole the ball over to DJ, lays it in, and they beat the Pistons at the buzzer, and it was just a nightmare scenario. I was at home in Clio, Michigan, and I had to pick up the phone. I called my friend Joe. He had been watching at his home. And all we did was I drove 15 minutes to get to Joe's house, and we just drove around Clio until like 3 a.m. We were just completely inconsolable. And I probably in this era, we would have just had this massively long text thread about all the bad decisions that were made. So for better or for worse, I'm thankful for the sports text threads. Paul, your turn.
Yeah, it's definitely the community that's built by those is really rich, just not while the Bears are actually playing.
That's the rule.
Okay, so the next one on my list is I am thankful for the revivals that are breaking out on college campuses across the U.S. I just want to give a shout out to a new podcast called The Walk podcast, at Access The Walk. Was started by a couple of Ohio State guys. It is no longer an Ohio State thing. They get college football players from all over to come on and just talk about their faith. Their little byline is this: we stride alongside Christian athletes as they share their journeys of faith, perseverance, and triumph, both on and off the field. That's a podcast worth checking out. We see the stories of the revival happening and the little worship services breaking out, led by football players and everything else. And it doesn't feel to me disingenuous, like, hey, this must be part of the rhythm to win, so let's make sure we have a church service going on and whatever. It's not that. It's bigger than that, and it's actually really cool, and I'm thankful for it.
Yeah, that's cool. Why don't you see if you can get the Walk hosts to join us? We can talk more about it with them. It'd be fun.
I need to do that. Yeah,
that'd be cool. Sean, what's up next?
I got pickleball next. It's something that I've started during COVID.
You're way too young for pickleball.
No, you're not too young. Hey, if you guys ever want to play, center courts right by Heritage High School. I'm there.
What? I've been there so many times. Yes.
The nets are still up, but it's a little too cold right now. But I absolutely love it. I have a community from work that we were going 2-3 times a week, and it's a good workout. You track it on your Apple Watch. You burn 1,000, sometimes 1,500 calories, and it's a good time. Made some good friends, and yeah.
My first
not too young for pickleball. It's going down in age. I think it was like an average of like 57.5 to like probably now like 43.6.
No, Sean, if you
Are
come
there
in,
ham roll-ups ever at the pickleball court?
What's that?
Are there ever ham roll-ups at the pickleball?
Yeah, bring a little Tupperware thing.
There's ham roll-ups, veggie straws, peanut butter pretzels, everything.
Wow, it's like a 7-Eleven at an arena. Sean, if you go to center courts inside, which is where I play in the winter, the median age in there is roughly 76.2. And my first few times of playing there, I found myself learning the game and then being beaten by very, very kind ladies that were certainly in their upper 70s, and that was not a great feeling. So thankfully we've gotten a little bit better, but I am now I'm going to call you out on it. We're going to have to play sometime.
Absolutely.
My next two. Number one, I got to have one item on my list that connects into the world of golf, since that's my world. I've tried to remind myself that I actually live in and really lived in the key core peak years of the Tiger Woods era. I got to see him do things in a competitive world that nobody's ever done before. It's pretty cool stuff. Granted, he did a lot of other things that nobody's done before in the more negative category. But from a golf content and media standpoint, living in the Tiger Woods era is pretty special. So thankful for that. Number 4, my daughter and her husband and our grandson, who live over a couple hours away, decided last year to just take up a sport to watch. They watch these sports. He didn't grow up in sports. She grew up around me, but otherwise had no clue about anything happening in the world of sports. They decided to begin watching the Lions. And now during Lions games, one of the text exchanges that I will frequently have is with her saying, why do they keep doing that? Or why does this keep happening? Or why was that call made? And oftentimes there's no answer for it because it doesn't make any sense. But it's kind of cool to see them intentionally come in a little bit later in life and just decide to learn a sport, root for a team, and engage on it. So anything that has those lines of communication open is pretty fun for me too. So, all right, Paul, you're up next.
That's awesome. Okay, you're going to be surprised, Bill. My next item on my list, number 3 for me, is the YouTube TV carriage dispute with ESPN, because it lasted 2 weeks, and here's the net result of the whole thing.
Yeah.
It got us more ESPN Plus programming. Like everything now that ESPN has is now a part of ESPN Plus. I got a $20 rebate from YouTube TV. I only had to give up 2 weekends of seeing SEC football on ESPN, and it only took me 2 weekends to realize that I don't need all the other stuff that ESPN offers. All I need is the games. I would even put College Game Day in that category. All I need is the games. And most important of all, it helped me realize that the SEC really, truly does not matter as much as they say that it does. So all things considered, the carriage dispute between YouTube TV and ESPN was a blessing in disguise. And myself, and I think a whole lot of other viewers, came out on the plus side in that whole thing, which is not what we thought was going to happen going into it.
No, you're very correct about that. And by the way, the rumors are that in the broadcast sense for YouTube TV, that they will be offering a sports skinny bundle, they call it. In other words, you can just subscribe to a sports package for less theoretically than you're paying right now for all the stuff that none of us ever watch. So I hope that's true. I hope that happens, and that would make it even better. So yeah, it's funny, Paul, partially because none of my team's games were carried by them during that stretch.
Right.
and partially because I may have discovered some other outlets to watch some games that I chose to watch, I didn't miss them in the least bit. So I think, I think that that's a good call on your part. Sean, what's next?
You know, the text chain sports was a really good one. And it just had me thinking back to in April. I have like a 3-person group chat, and it was like Tigers Twins on Apple TV and like I said, April, and it's cold out, and the Tigers win like 3-1. And we're like, game still means the same in April. You know, this is us. Like, nobody will remember this game but us. And that is so true. Just had to say that because my next one is Tarek Skubal. I know he's been in the, you know, he's always, it feels like every week we get like an update of Tigers and Skubal, not even close. Tigers and Skubal. Skubal wants to stay. Scott Boras says this. And, you know, I hope he stays. Last thing I'll say about that is you can't be a serious organization and say we're going to draft and develop talent and then just be so willing to, I guess, get rid of it. Like, kind of what's the point? So I guess that's all I'll say on that. But so thankful for Tarek Skubal. I mean, he is exactly, you had mentioned Dan Campbell. I really feel like Skubal was kind of that second one to be like, this is what Detroit tough means, and they represent the city so well. So
I agree with you 98% of the way on that one.
Uh-oh.
But him willingly coming out of that game when we needed him in that game, that was a tough one. That was a tough one because
did you see what came out recently?
I don't know. I don't think I did.
He had said that he was like loosening up like innings later, like he wanted to go back in, but obviously that doesn't mean anything.
No.
But you wonder if whose decision that was. I don't know. We'll see.
All I know is Justin Verlander and Jack Morris would have literally fought the manager to stay.
And it did not make me very happy that you had the Japanese wonder Yamamoto that was basically willing to lose his entire arm.
Yeah. Yes.
So,
yeah. Although I don't argue. I mean, thankful for Skubal as well. Just there's a little bit of a little tiny uneasiness in my world about that. Number 3 on my list. I'll do 3 and 2 here because I mentioned my daughter at 4. Number 3 is a very patient wife who endures a lot of sports and my very crazy travel schedule. This season especially has been one of those just wild nonstop times. It finally has kind of cooled off here after last week, but just thankful for her patience. And when she can come along, it's wonderful, but she can't always come along. So, and when I'm home, thankfully we watch a lot of these games together, which is really nice. Number 2, Sean knows my son, Bo. Paul knows him a little bit. He's over there in Grand Rapids. You need to watch a game with Bo at some point in your life, like in the room, in the same living room. He's a very quiet, mild-mannered young man until somebody's going to bust a run or there's a big play about to take place, and then you will see him stand up wherever he is and start screaming, "House, house, house." If the team is struggling in football, he and his wife, Becca, will begin to throw a football back and forth to each other, and they're not doing it like comically. They think that it has a direct impact on the game and it changes the flow, the vibe. So they keep a football handy throughout all of that. I just think it's awesome. I love that he's so genuinely and passionately invested in all these things. So there you go. There's my number 2. Paul.
That's awesome. Yeah. So down here watching the Cowboys game from this past weekend with my son-in-law, Josh, who's a huge Cowboys fan. And you know that commercial where the guy is sitting next to his 1-year-old and something bad happens and his 1-year-old puts his arms up and starts cheering. Then he looks over and sees that dad is beside himself and he does exactly what dad did. So Josh gets up and just starts yelling when the Cowboys execute the comeback to win. And 2 of my 3 grandkids are like, what is happening with dad? They start crying. They start screaming because he's running around the house like the man. It was great. It was absolutely great.
I love it.
My number 2, second to the top of my list, is the Big Ten Network because I love Big Ten women's volleyball. It's awesome. I love Big Ten wrestling. It's awesome. And the Big Ten has this deal called Big Ten in 60. I'm sure you guys have seen it, right? Where you can record just the Big Ten in 60 stuff, and then you can go back and watch all the football games, all the volleyball matches, all the wrestling matches that you didn't catch from the weekend. They added it down so you can catch the full game, match, whatever, in 60 minutes, and it's just awesome. So I'll watch the Ohio State game every weekend. I'll watch whatever other Big Ten games are of interest, but then when I'm bored, I can go back and catch, the ones I'm less interested in, but I'd like to see, like Oregon or USC maybe or whatever, and don't have to spend 3 hours to watch the whole football game. And I can stay caught up on women's volleyball and wrestling and all the other stuff going on in the Big Ten. It just matters more.
And those are student athletes.
Yes.
I mean, they're not making $500,000 a piece on NIL money. So that's good. All right, Sean, what do you got?
All right, my number 2, been doing a lot of this stuff recently. Bought a place, moved out. So my number 2 is hand me down anything. I will take it if it's free. I got a table that was so many stories. I guess this was from the UP from like the 60s. I got chairs downstairs from the 70s. I got a couch from the 70s. So, hey.
You're in your own place? You bought your own home?
Yep.
In what city is this home located?
Bay City.
Oh, you're in Bay City. Okay.
Awesome.
What's the current biggest needed item? What's top of your item list that you wish somebody had a hand-me-down for this one?
Probably a nice like coffee table. I think that's kind of what I'm missing.
Don't see nice a lot of coffee tables. Yeah, they're not as popular anymore. Everybody's got these big...
Well, I don't know about like a coffee table or if it's just like a glass table. I don't know. Okay. Just a table of some sorts to put like a drink on or anything.
Your ham roll-ups or whatever you got going on.
Yeah, you got a big tray of ham roll-ups and crackers. I don't know where you're supposed to put it. You can't lay it on the carpet.
Guys, I have a question. Okay. This is coming up at work quite a bit, and it's kind of like near ham roll-up territory. And you guys have probably maybe asked this before, so you can come out.
If it's roll-up adjacent, we probably have. Yeah.
Is mac and cheese a Thanksgiving food?
No, goodness no.
Paul?
I would
Sean,
say yes.
The Pilgrims.
Yeah, let's go, Paul.
No. The Pilgrims did not have mac and cheese. They had turkey. They had stuffing.
Like, you're not
corn.
saying no to mac and cheese if somebody made it homemade, right? You're scooping that on your plate, yeah?
I am not. I can't stand mac and cheese. It reminds me of vomit. Can't do it. Can't have it.
Oh. My
grandkids will be having mac and cheese on Thanksgiving, and some of it will probably make its way to my plate as well. I'll just leave it at that.
Sean, is that a staple for you for Thanksgiving, or is that because you're now a homeowner and the budget has dipped a bit?
Yeah, not doing homemade. We're definitely doing Stouffer's here. So
I thought you were going to say Kraft.
It's Stouffer's. Oh shoot, yeah, Gordon's from Gordon's. Whatever she thinks.
Oh, made by a family name. Very good. That's good to know. Oh, yeah, mac and cheese. Okay, I'm going to knock off my last one and then give you a bonus. My last one I'm thankful for things like rivalry games like we have coming up. We've talked enough about the game, but I think it's super fun. We've gotten so much more the last few years than we expected and really than we should have, than deserved. This year's game is kind of gravy, and my goodness, the meltdown that would occur if somehow Michigan won this game again. A bonus for you. I'm thankful for the world of sound bites. It's a little different than sports text threads. It's this collection of sound bites that we play for you all every week here on Church Pew Sports. And they vary. They're all over the map. Some of them are short, some of them are long, and some of them are just, they're just so cringeworthy that they're extra special. That's where we cue Shedeur Sanders.
Win is crazy. It's amazing, off of 1 week of practice, you know what I mean? This 1 week of practice. So imagine, what a full offseason look like. It get dangerous, but it's just a 1 week of practice, so I'm just truly thankful.
Oh, man, I'm so thankful for Deion and him infusing the hubris into that young man. I actually thought the first time that I saw and heard that clip, I thought it was AI. I did not think it was original, but that's original, and that's Shedeur after a very mediocre performance gets Cleveland the win over a horrendous Raiders team, and he's feeling it pretty good. One more soundbite. This one's of the opposite degree of tolerance. This is really good, and this is Tom Izzo, the Michigan State basketball coach, talking about how he does things in an era where many are doing these things differently.
It's funny you'd ask that question because that seems to be the people that are getting the most credit. You know, the transfer portal recruitment is almost bigger than winning games. Not at Michigan State. Someday it could hurt me. I'm going to do what I got to do. I don't give up on the people I got. And that's what you call development. And that's what you call working with players. And you stick with them, and they stick with you.
Sometimes. But I love to hear him say, I work with the people I got. I stick with the people I got. I like that. That's good to hear a coach say that, because a lot of coaches just throw guys off into the trash heap and encourage them strongly to go somewhere else. So, all right, there's my 10 plus a bonus one. Paul, why don't you finish up your list?
I got one more, but I think it's better as a 3-minute message. So I'm just going to defer until we're ready for it.
We'll save it. Sean, what do you have?
All right. So was going to do the obvious ones, was going to do March Madness, was going to do the World Cup, because these are all great things, but they're just kind of like, boom, boom, you know. I was going to do the Jaguars for passing on for passing on Hutchinson. And then I settled on, just because it's rivalry week, if I can say that correctly. I think what I'm most thankful for is winning the last real college football national championship.
Yeah.
I think the 4-team, I think the pre-crazy NIL stuff, I think that I think college football is kind of crazy right now. And Paul, I have a sweatshirt with every game from that Michigan run, and I don't think Ohio State can have that same sweatshirt on their championship season.
Because there's too many games.
Not that there's too many games, it's just because there's an L to a specific team.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
It's kind of marred. Kind of
I don't know.
Well, hey, Sean, I'm thankful for the same thing as well. All right, Paul, let's get you into the 3-minute message here.
Homer, I'd like you to remember Matthew 7:26. The foolish man who built his house on sand.
And you remember Matthew 21:17.
And he left them and went out of the city into Bethany, and he lodged there?
Yeah. Think about it.
Think about it. Okay, number one on my list is I am thankful for the Church Pew Sports Tribe.
Yeah.
Right? I've been thinking about the fact, Bill, you said we're almost 200 episodes into doing this thing.
It's crazy.
And there are people all over the U.S., inside and outside the echo chambers of Ann Arbor and Columbus and all that I get to stay connected to, because they'd send me random text messages when they catch a podcast episode and they want to go back and forth on something that was said or whatever. And it just gives me the opportunity to stay connected to people that matter to me, right? Philippians 1:3, I thank my God every time I remember you. So on behalf of Church Pew Sports, I want to say to everyone that's listening, everyone that tunes in here and there, and every one of you that shares this podcast with others in your world, I want to say thank you. I know I'm speaking for Bill when I say this as well. We thank God for you every time we remember you, because this is really fun, and sports should be fun. Talking about sports should be fun. And it is here on the podcast. So you're willing, we want to keep doing this thing. And it's just great. It's such a privilege to be connected to the people that this podcast allows us to be connected to. So thank you. Thank you, Jesus, for the people, for the tribe.
You know, one of those people, Paul, last night volunteered to pay the penalty for whoever loses the college football pick'em pool by watching the horrendous movie and handling the review, and said, I'll just do it for you if you want me to. I don't know when we decide when the competition ends, if it's at the end of the regular season or when we call it quits. But that goes to what you just said, which is it's a pretty cool fraternity of people who have both been guests on the show and then those who have listened and share some thoughts with you. I get people who talk to me about it on occasion, especially when I'm at church. And so, yeah, very thankful for all of them. And thank you for being a part of 190, probably 191 of the 193 of these things that we've done. And yeah, it's always fun. And Sean, we're glad to have you along, man.
Yeah, thank you guys. Appreciate it.
Well, enjoy Charlie Brown. Enjoy some football on Thursday. We don't care if you enjoy Friday football. That doesn't count. They shouldn't be doing that. Leave the high school kids to their championship Fridays. But then again, we come together again on Saturday, and the season of
mac and cheese on Friday. Eat all the mac and cheese on Friday, not on Thursday.
No, that does not belong at the Thanksgiving table. Ham roll-ups, maybe. We'll give you that.
Right. We'll see.
Thank you all for listening to Church Pew Sports. Thanks for being a part of it. Thanks for sharing the link with others in your world, and we hope you'll check us out at churchpewsports.com. Have a wonderful Thanksgiving. We are thankful for all of you listening every single week.